I know I'm not just speaking for myself when I say that I really wish that my life was so easy that the biggest problem on my plate is the character body types in Marvel Rivals. And I'm sure off of that first sentence alone, you could probably already tell that today's video won't be covering any genuine, serious, pressing matters that could be the make or break of Marvel Rivals. So if that's what you came here expecting, you can probably click off now. But if you came here to see losers on the internet make an absolute fool of themselves over the biggest non-issue ever, make sure to stick around and probably go grab some snacky snacks or something because you're in for a ride. And getting straight into it, if you don't know what Marvel Rivals is at this point, first of all, how do you even find this video? And second, welcome to the internet. But Marvel Rivals is a 6v6 hero shooter pretty much exactly like Overwatch, but better, and using Marvel's characters. And pretty much since its release, it's been seeing an insane amount of popularity that hasn't really fallen off whatsoever, which is honestly unheard of. Usually when a game launches and gets this type of popularity, it hits its peak players for about the first 3 days, and then for the next few weeks to about a month, the players fall off by about 40%, which really isn't bad. It's just that, of course, it's not gonna permanently be at its peak. But of course, for Marvel Rivals, that's basically exactly what we're seeing. Since their peak players, they've only lost about 6% of their player base, which either means that everyone that's playing this game is just staying, or everyone that's leaving is immediately getting replaced, and it's obviously most likely a combination of those two. But of course, like everything popular on the internet, there's a fair amount of people hating on this game as well, and like you heard earlier, majority of the time, it's not even for a valid reason like its gameplay. But with the brief explanation of what Marvel Rivals is and what's going on here out of the way, let's get right into the problems that people are having with this game. And speaking of problems, I'm gonna have a problem with you if you don't hurry up and hit that subscribe button.
Let's start here though with a little history. 8 months ago, this post on Our Girl Gamers, titled, "Can we just throw some backlash at Marvel Rivals?" I love how they gave it a serious flair. That just makes it more funny.
Alright, now off the jump, this is already hilarious and they haven't even said anything yet. Just the pure irony that not only is this posted in r/girl gamers, but the fact that when they posted it there, they knew absolutely no one was gonna take it serious, so they had to tag it serious, which really almost makes it less serious. If you have to go out of your way to tell someone that something is serious, it's probably not that serious, because if it was, it'd speak for itself. You wouldn't have to inform them that it's serious.
I've been on the fence so long with Overwatch for years. It has diverse male body types, and then female characters are copy-paste with a bare handful of diversity, and these diverse female characters are given such a little amount of attention in cosmetics that it's clear they don't care for them. Now I'm watching Marvel Rivals go down the same path. The female characters are all tall, slim, and busty, with a good deal of skin, while the male characters are fully covered, minus Hulk and the Fishman.
There's so much wrong here already, and you can really already tell what type of post this is by the fact that they don't even know bro's name. They just called Namor Fishman. I'm also not sure if that's even how you pronounce his name. What is it, Namor? Namor? That's what he says in the game at least. But moving on, I really don't understand this person's problem here. Usually anytime any situation ever plays out, I always try to put myself in the other person's shoes and try to get into their head to see what they're thinking, and I just have no clue what they're thinking here. What do you want? The characters to not look good? Is that what you're saying? Just take a second to think about what game you're talking about here. This is a game filled to the brim with superheroes and villains. And sure, I agree, the female characters in the game do look really nice, and a lot of them do show a lot of skin, but if I am playing a superhero game, I don't want the heroes to look not good. I don't care about diverse body types that much because they're superheroes. There's typically a superhero body type, and that's usually pretty fit, which most of the female characters are, and most of the male characters are as well. I also wanted to point out that they usually try to claim that, oh, these body types are so unobtainable and unrealistic, which, one, we already went over. They're superheroes. It's not necessarily meant to be obtainable obtainable, or else they wouldn't be a hero if they just looked like average Joe Schmo. But most of the time, I usually see women complaining about the female bodies in the game being completely unobtainable, and I'd have to argue in favor of the male bodies being more unobtainable. Because like this person said in their post, most of the female characters in this game are just curvy. That's it. They don't have any other outrageous body proportions. They act like there's no curvy pretty women IRL. And taking a look at the male characters, even ignoring the absolutely behemothing hulking ones like, well, the Hulk, Venom, and even characters like Thor, look at someone like the Punisher. He's an absolute unit. That's not obtainable reasonably at all. And for the most part, I see pretty much no guys complaining about this fact ever, and if anything, they're doing the opposite. They'll see a character like Venom or the Hulk and be like, damn, that's insanely cool and literally me, and then immediately go look up a video, how to obtain Venom physique 2025 updated guide unpatched.
It's so clear that they only just care for straight male gamers. At this point, it's just a slap in the face. They know what they're doing. It's disappointing since the MCU did such a good job making women less objectified. Fans of the MCU will be playing this game. Very few people read the comics in comparison, making it accurate for them as a joke.
There's really two big problems here, with the first one being the blatant ignorance over the fact that it's not just male gamers that enjoy nice-looking female characters in games. Just because you're a woman and you don't enjoy it doesn't mean they all don't. And if anything, from a lot of the posts that I've been seeing on social media about the characters in the game, most women are heavily supporting the design of the female characters in this game. But the other part to point out is, in what way does this game objectify women? Because if you're basing it on pure appearances alone, which you of course can't do because that's just not how that works, but for argument's sake, let's just entertain the idea that that is how it works. If that were the case, that'd mean that the male characters in the game are objectified just as much as the females. I swear the word objectifying has just had all of its meaning ripped away, just like any other word that social media gets a hold of. They find literally any buzzword that they can get their hands on and spam it in every situation possible until it means literally nothing.
Oh my gosh, that's gotta be one of the most pathetic things I've ever heard. They need to appeal to MCU fans only. Forget the comic fans. Don't make things accurate for them. As if there would even be an MCU without the original comics. And they end the post by saying, can we just start making noise on these issues? You know what, that's also one of the lamest things I've ever heard.
That really speaks for itself right there. If you have to come out and beg people to start making noise on an issue, then it's most likely not an issue at all. Because if it was, you wouldn't need to beg people to make noise about it. This is basically just someone that's crying about there not being enough hate on a game that specifically they don't enjoy, so they're begging everyone else to hate on it.
I feel like I just waited a decade for my dream Marvel game, and now it's pretty much implied that this game isn't for me. Well, that sounds like great news for everyone else. Imagine being stuck in a lobby with someone like that. The most upvoted comment in that thread says, consider my noise added to yours. Just tell me where to direct it. Another top comment says, yeah, who would have thought that League of Legends did it best? It's so weird. We've had AAA games with diverse women for ages, and here we are, 5 steps backwards from that.
What? What are you talking about here? League of Legends did it the best? Are we certain about that? And I know that most of you watching this video probably don't play League, but just for an idea, I'm gonna go ahead and put some pictures of different League of Legends women on the screen right now, and I also want to mention that there are literally 0 out-of-shape women in League, and honestly, most of their body types are more unobtainable than the ones in Marvel Rivals, with one of them literally being a deer. And I guess, sure, if your only goal was to have a bit of diversity, sure, League might have a bit more than this game, but League has also been out forever. They have way more characters to choose from, so obviously there's gonna be a bit more diversity. And I truly do mean a bit. That character that's a deer is really one of the only standout different body types for the females in that game.
And more so just rage baiting.
And then people would argue about League of Legends also being problematic.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just thought that was all pretty funny. Hope you enjoyed that one too. You know, aside from the brain rot stuff. And now on to more current posts from only 3 days ago on the subreddit for Concord. The post titled, Any Concord fans try Rivals yet?
No, 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 no. I'm gonna go ahead and fix the title of that post right now. Any Concord fans? That's just where it needs to cut off altogether. What do you mean any Concord fans try Rivals yet? There was only 4 of them. This post also says, I'm considering giving it a try, but Concord holds a special place in my heart. You don't have to only play one game at a time. That's the great thing about Marvel Rivals being free. You can try it out whenever you want. What is Concord gonna do? File a divorce because you cheated on it? What? Minecraft holds a special place in my heart. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna play any other survival game ever. I also want to point out how bro is a top 1% poster in the Concord subreddit, and I just find that funny because bro might be one of the only 3 posters.
Why did Concord have to die and Marvel Rivals gets to live? It's not as fun as Concord by a long shot. I hate this timeline. They'd get a response that says, well, charging $40 when literally every hero shooter is free was a very big misstep. A response to them reading, being free wouldn't save the game, buddy, and Marvel Rivals isn't having success because it's free. As User Pass Foundations would respond to that other user Desfert, where Desfert had essentially said that Concord being free wouldn't have saved it. Pass Foundations responding saying it's one of the main factors of its demise. And that's where we get Desfert saying, yeah, let's say it was free to play. Now tell me the difference, how much longer would it last? Even when the game had a free beta, it only hit 2K and kept dropping players. Basically kept the same issues from the beta and then it died only a few weeks later. It doesn't make a single difference to paint a ship with other colors. If you don't fix the holes, it'll still sink.
Damn, that was the crazy quote ever. I couldn't have said it better myself. And if you're genuinely wondering why a game like Concord fails but Marvel Rivals succeeds, I'm no doctor, but I do regret to inform you that you might just have parasites eating into your brain as we speak, because there's no other way to be that dumb.
Then we get this hilarious cope that says, Concord failed not because of its design, gameplay, price, or quality as a game, but because it became a target in a culture war. From the moment it was announced, discussions about the game were dominated by negativity. Critics labeled it as dead on arrival, woke, or trash, before there was even a beta or gameplay footage. This constant negativity overshadowed the game itself.
Being caught in a woke crossfire is absolutely not the reason at all. Because when it comes down to it, sure, while character appearances and game visuals do play a huge role in the game succeeding or not, that's clearly not everything. If you have great gameplay and storytelling, whether that's done through an actual story or characters' personalities, the game will do good. And I know it's kind of an unfair example to use because this game didn't have absolutely ugly, atrocious characters, but look at Overwatch. When it came out, their poster girl was literally gay. She had a girlfriend. Or I guess for women you call it lesbian, but same thing pretty much. But that's also not even to mention all the other diversity that Overwatch had. They had characters from all different races and all different ages, and no one complained about that being woke. So that's clearly not the only issue.
And then hopping over to the Marvel Rivals subreddit, we've got this post that says, talk about bad takes. And then posting an image from Outlet the Gamer and an article that they made titled, Marvel Rivals has too many heroes for its own good. You're probably familiar with the Gamer. Many channels, including mine, have talked about takes from that outlet, as they're the same type of gaming journalists who often try and call gamers problematic and they're constantly getting offended at things.
I honestly don't even think I needed to point out how stupid this is. They're just looking for any reason to hate on the game without there even being a reason. The game has too many heroes for its own good. What could that even mean? One of the most successful esport, and not even esport, but just successful games ever, League of Legends, has 169 or 170 characters at this point. And I obviously know League has been out for a while and has had time to add all of those characters over the years, but even talking about initial release and how many characters they have on release, it's definitely not too many. It's far from it. I also genuinely wonder if there's anyone that gets their information from and consistently reads the Gamer Journal. Just unironically as well, not even reading it to like make a video and make fun of it.
Saying that Rivals should have taken more time with its roster, and making a very weird argument that Rivals has released too many heroes already, saying that people don't care about playing them well or trying to learn what their abilities are, which is obviously a really weird thing to say. Like, obviously people want to play their heroes well. They then doubled down on the argument that Rivals has too many heroes, and in the lead up to its full launch, more additions were confirmed for the roster, making it hard to determine who I'd main, and if I would even have enough time to learn all their ins and outs before release. Turns out that I didn't, and now the sheer act of playing Marvel Rivals is daunting.
I'm not joking when I say I genuinely can't believe what I'm hearing. People don't want to learn the characters. That couldn't be further from the truth. And then you say you're not sure who you want to main because of the amount of characters, and then when you get back on the game, it's daunting. Not only is that a skill issue, and when it becomes to that point, I might honestly just say a brain issue, because I've heard no one else say it's daunting and they don't know who they want to main. Most people at least have a few characters that they really want to learn the ins and out of, and on top of that all, aren't you supposed to be game journalists? I promise to you, if Marvel Rivals is a daunting game, you might just want to give up on that career now, because this isn't even close to the hardest game to get into. It's actually one of the easiest, especially since it just came out, and not only is the hero roster a bit smaller since it just came out, but everyone is also learning the game together. It's not like anyone has been playing it for years before you. But yeah, I can really only take so much stupidity at a time, so it looks like that's gonna be it for this video. If you really want to watch the rest of this or just see more of it, make sure to go check out the video on Hero Hayes' channel. I'm also gonna have it linked in the description, and it's a pretty good video. But with that said, that's pretty much been it on the absolute idiots of the internet complaining about Marvel Rivals for some of the biggest non-issues ever, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.